What's up, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, with our next upcoming game against the Toronto Raptors coming ever so closely, today we're going to be discussing, I guess, what we could expect from the Chicago Bulls in that next game. Apparently, we need a response. The player-only meeting, how badly we played against OKC. It's a terrible start to the season for Bulls fans across the world, and the players kind of already know that in their own right. That's why they're having these player meetings to begin with, but what can we see as a response? How can we better see the Chicago Bulls play? And I guess, will it actually make any difference in this type of game against Toronto? Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and their chances to beat the Toronto Raptors in this game. Our second game of the season, it will be at home. Toronto coming off of a very close, competitive, and tight game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, so they're coming in with some momentum as well. What are your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls' chances? Now, firstly, we'll discuss whether or not we can see differences in our game plan against Toronto, and the answer is probably going to be yes. I say probably because I think Toronto plays a big factor in that as well. But I do think we need to start seeing a little bit more post entries for Nikola Vucevic. At the end of the day, it was a big problem last game. I think Vucevic even grew a bit frustrated with that as well, and it's just the harsh reality of things that when the ball doesn't really get to Vucevic, there's not a lot that happens for the Chicago Bulls. Vucevic, in some way, form, or fashion, is involved in the play, whether he's in a pick and roll or whether we actually find Nikola Vucevic in the post. There has to be a key thing going forward because I think he does make a lot of differences as that center that can, I guess, do a lot of things for the Chicago Bulls. Now, that's not to say that Nikola Vucevic should be our go-to guy, our number one option or anything like that, but I mean, look at the game last time out against OKC. Did you notice Nikola Vucevic at all? That's our third option that doesn't get the ball at all. And he has every right, in my opinion, to be frustrated from that. So I think that's the first key area that we can see improved, and one key area that I think can help us win games. So that's the first thing we need to discuss right then and there. Obviously, I expect the Bulls to make more three-point shots. Again, I like the amount that we took. A couple of them, most of them were wide open, I would say. But we missed a lot. Patrick Williams missed a lot of wide open threes. Other guys missed a couple of them. Zach missed a couple of them. DeMar missed a couple of them. And at the end of the day, it does pile up. And it shows that we just had a bad scoring night against OKC. If you make just a couple more threes, you're probably thinking of this game in a different way, in a different light. But that's not what happened. We gave up on the game. We didn't show fight. The players admit it. And at the end of the day, we didn't make our three-point shots either. Now, again, I said it in the last video, and I'm going to say it here as well. I like the amount of threes that we took. I'm not going to criticize the Bulls for taking too many threes when last season we're talking about them not taking enough. But the wide open ones are the ones that are a bit frustrating to see because when we don't make them, that causes problems for this Bulls team. So I'm expecting more shots made from the three-point line in the next game. I'm hoping that that one game against OKC was kind of that one-off, kind of that, hey, look, we had a bad scoring night. We've seen this Bulls team make a little bit more threes in preseason. We know they can do it at a little bit of a higher level. I'm not saying an exponentially higher level, but even just a little bit of a higher level, and that could help the Chicago Bulls team. And obviously, look, you have to see step-ups from a lot of guys on that team, efficiency-wise and just production-wise. Zach LaVine, example here. Very inefficient, very poor night from the field. Couldn't make a layup, barely made a three, was just inefficient all night long. Just a very off night for Zach LaVine. And as much as we can criticize Zach, I've heard people say straight away after this one game, trade Zach LaVine, he's not worth it, and stuff of that nature. I think that's a bit of a stretch. What we have to do now is hope that Zach LaVine can respond because he had a great preseason. He looked really, really, really good in preseason, but preseason ain't everything, as we clearly can see. So the next game against the Raptors, there's going to be a lot of defensive, I guess, schemes thrown at our big three. How are they going to be able to respond to that? Zach LaVine, in my opinion, is going to be a key, but we're talking about Coby White as well in this instance. Coby White had 15 points and 4 assists, but was very inefficient all night as well. I feel like Coby White gets a lot of passes because of how good we have seen over the last season and preseason. And Coby White will get a pass because of that, because he has been one of the most impressive Bulls players in the past recent history. So I'm hoping he can have a little bit of a step up. Patrick Williams, again, you don't expect Patrick Williams to miss the amount of threes that he did, but he was actually very aggressive in that game against OKC. That was a positive in my eyes. And all of a sudden, if he makes some of his threes, he's in for a fantastic scoring night in his own right. Our bench. I think our bench was a fairly big problem in its own right as well. A couple of guys didn't show up on the bench. You expect them to be big impacts in the games as well. So there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to hope and improve upon. But here's the thing, right? You're versing the Toronto Raptors. So as much as we could talk about all these things that you want to improve, how many times have you seen the Raptors bring it to the Bulls and make the Bulls struggle to play their own game? For the past 3 seasons, I would say, Toronto has been that team to throw off the Chicago Bulls in more ways than one. Now, yes, we beat them in the play-in tournament game. It was one of the most important games of the Bulls season at the time. Yes, we did that. We should be very proud of that. But Toronto does not allow the Bulls to play their style of basketball. It's not going to be as free-flowing. It's not going to be open threes left, right, and center. It's not going to be an easy breeze of a game for the Chicago Bulls against the Toronto Raptors. Yes, we need to respond. We need players to step up. We need some contributions from everywhere on the court. But Toronto will not make that easy. And we saw it in preseason as well. We saw what type of defense they will play and how the Bulls can respond to that. So as much as I'm expecting ball movement and assists and shots being made, in this game against Toronto, I can actually really see the Bulls playing a lot of half-court, slow type of ball movement and stuff like that, taking their time because Toronto's a very good steals team as well. Try not to commit to a bunch of turnovers because that's when Toronto can catch you. So I actually do think the tempo of the game against Toronto specifically could be a lot slower. And that, I think, could cause problems. Toronto will, I'm going to emphasize this now, will cause problems for the Chicago Bulls. Now, does that mean they're going to beat us? No, because we don't know what the outcome will be. Any team in the NBA could beat anybody. It's as simple as that. And I think the Bulls at home should feel comfortable enough to beat the Toronto Raptors. But they will cause problems, and they can cause enough problems to beat this Bulls team. But a response is needed. We'll see if that's what's going to happen. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you all so much for watching. Drop a like and a follow or subscribe if you are new. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.